Hello, my dear friends. My name is George, the nice smelling gentleman. Another month has passed. The month of November is now over, so it's time for the November fragrance haul video. So, in this video, I'm gonna show you all the fragrances that I bought in the month of November. So, without too much talking, let's start. I'm gonna start this video by showing you a fragrance from the house of Latava, which is called the confidential private gold. It comes in this gold colored bottle. Now this is supposed to be a clone of Tiziana Terenzi's Kirke, or at least people say so. I've never tried Kirke, so I don't know how it smells, but I can tell you how this smells, at least from my initial sort of wearings. I've given it a couple of wears. This is a feminine leaning smell. It's sweet, it's citrusy, it's powdery, it's somehow light and airy, if that makes any sense. It's not like a dense fragrance, a dense scent, but from the few wearings that I've given it, it lasts about 7 to 8 hours on my skin, so there's no problem with the actual longevity and the projection. But somehow the smell is even the scent profile is feminine leaning, and the fact that it's not dense and it's like light and airy, also to my nose it makes it a feminine leaning scent. Next we have a fragrance from the house of Halloween, the Halloween Man Shot. This is a it's a sweet, slightly spicy fragrance. It has some cardamom, some black pepper in the opening. Also there's some citruses, some lemon in the opening. Then on the dry down you get iris, which is the actual reason why I bought this, because I'm a big iris lover. You have vanilla, you have leather. Once it starts to settle down on your skin, it sort of brings that vibe of Valentino Uomo Intense, Dior Homme Intense, although this is in no way a clone of those two fragrances. But because of the iris and the leather, you get some of those vibes. It has sort of a good performance, 6 to 7 hours on skin. I see this more like a nighttime scent, daytime, like a date night scent. I've been enjoying this one. Next we have the Latava Ram Silver. Now this is a straight up clone of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. Now compared to the other famous clone of Ultra Male, which is Afnan's 9 p.m., this, to my nose, at least so far in the opening, is a bit closer, because unlike Afnan, which have went with an apple note instead of the pear note in the opening, this has the actual pear note in the opening. So to my nose, this is closer in the first few minutes to Ultra Male compared to 9 p.m. I'm yet to test the how it performs long term, but so far I've been really impressed with the quality and the fact that it's very, very close to Ultra Male in the opening, and it's also dirty cheap. It's costed me like less than $15. Next we have again from the house of Latava, the Latava Asad. Now again, this is people say this is a clone of Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now I wouldn't call it a clone, I would call it a very heavily inspired fragrance by Sauvage Elixir. You get that Sauvage Elixir vibe immediately. If you're familiar with Elixir, how Elixir smells, even if you smell this off the cap, you'll know what this is trying to be, or what has inspired Latava to make this fragrance. This to me is like a sweeter, more wearable variant, like a flanker to Sauvage Elixir. In fact, this scent profile in this bottle could very well be a flanker to Elixir. Now compared to Elixir, this is not a strong performer, still gives me a pretty good performance, 6 to 7 hours, not as beastly as Sauvage Elixir, but I think it's more versatile because it's less spicy, it's sweeter, and it's probably gonna be a even bigger crowd pleaser compared to Elixir. I got this for about $35, which is a really good price for a 100 ml bottle. Next, another Latava, This is called the Shakear Final Edition. This a lot of people say is supposed to be a clone of YSLY EDP, and my opinion differs on this matter. I don't think this is a clone of YSLY EDP. Yes, it shares some of that same DNA, but this, to my nose, compared to YSLY EDP, is a bit darker. It's a bit denser. It has this sweetness, but it's like not a citrusy sweetness. It's not a strong projecting fragrance like YSLY EDP, not also as long lasting as YSLY EDP, but it still gives me like 6 to 7 hours on skin, and actually I've really been enjoying this scent. And it's also again dirty cheap, less than $20. I paid something like $15 for this. Then we have another Latava. This is the Latava Fakhar Black. Again, this is supposed to be a clone of YSLY EDP. To me, maybe this is like slightly closer to YSLY EDP compared to the Shakear Final Edition. This is not as dense as the Shakear. It's sweeter. It's a bit more citrusy. Again, not as strong projecting as YSLY EDP, not an exact clone to YSLY EDP, but still closer to YSLY EDP compared to Shakear Final Edition. This is a crowd-pleasing fragrance. It's sweet, it's good performing, again 6 to 7 hours. I've really been enjoying this one as well. Although this has been hyped up a little bit, and I guess that's why the prices are a little bit higher compared to the previous Latava. This costed me like close to $25. Next, we're gonna have two fragrances from the same house. Again, Middle Eastern fragrances. The next two are from the house of Art Al Zafaran. I hope I'm not butchering the name. I probably am, but you know, it's a quite a hard name to pronounce. Now, this is called Midnight Oud. Again, like Latava Ram Silver, this is a straight up clone of something, and that something is Amouage's Interlude Men. And in fact, it's a very good clone of Amouage Interlude. It has like pretty much the same scent profile. It's, I would say, 95% close as far as the actual scent. Of course, not as dense as the Interlude Men. It doesn't have the, you know, that high quality, but it's the scent profile is very close. It's very good performing. I get about 12 hours on skin. Of course, Interlude Man is like out of this world. It's probably double that. It's 24 hours, maybe even more. But this costed me $15 for 100 mils. And one suggestion I would have about this fragrance, if you want to try out Interlude Men, this is a really nice way to try that fragrance, because as I said, the scent is very close. The scent profile is very close. If you try to sample like a 3 or 5 ml decant of Interlude Men, because it's so expensive to begin with, probably a 3 or 5 ml decant will cost you more than a full bottle of Midnight Oud. So I think this is a really nice way to try the scent profile of Interlude Men. Now, about the actual scent, this is very dark, very dense, very spicy. It's not for everybody, but as I said, $15, you can give it a shot. Next, we have another fragrance from that house. It's called 24 Hours Majestic Gold. Now, this was another hidden gem for me. This is a sweet leather fragrance. You have some spices up top, you know, saffron, raspberry on the opening, although they're very subtle. Once this starts to dry down, it starts to become this really sweet leather fragrance. You have vanilla, you have leather, you have very good performance. Some people have compared this to Stronger With You leather. Now, I've never tried Stronger With You leather, so I cannot say whether this is really close to that fragrance or not, but this on its own is a really interesting, sweet, good performing leather fragrance. I get about 8 to 9 hours on skin, which is pretty decent, especially considering the fact that I also paid for this about $15 for a 100 ml size of EDP. So if you're into leather fragrances, you can give this one a try, definitely. Next, the last Latava in this video is going to be the Velvet Oud. Now this is again a fragrance that's heavily inspired by Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. Another leather fragrance, this compared to the previous one, the 24-hour Majestic Gold. This is more citrusy in the opening. You can definitely pick up the raspberry here. And also the leather, once the fragrance starts to settle down, the leather compared to Majestic Gold comes off a bit, I don't know, sharper somehow. I enjoyed this one. To my nose, this is like a bit feminine leaning because fragrance. It's supposed to be unisex. It will give you good performance. Again, 8, 9, 10 hours, like almost any other Latava. Good quality, very cheap, about $20-25. I paid $20 for this. Good presentation. If you're into leather fragrances, you can give this one a try. And the last fragrance in today's video is going to be Roberto Cavalli Uomo Golden Anniversary Edition. Another leather fragrance. I left the three leather fragrance, leather themed fragrance for the end of this list. This, out of the three leather fragrances that I got in November, this is probably the sexiest smelling and the highest quality smelling, and that's normal because it's a designer fragrance and costs twice as much as the other two that I just show you. What you get here, you get a very strong black violet note in the opening. It really hits you in the face. Then you have some lavender, which starts to show itself after the initial blast of black violet. And then when it starts to dry down, you get the sweetness from the tonka bean, and you get the leather accord, which is very strong. Also, the black violet accord stays with the fragrance throughout its life. It's sexy, it's sweet, it's nice smelling, very well rounded, although a bit linear. The scent doesn't change that much from the opening until the end. And sort of an average performer, leaning towards good performing fragrance. I get about 6 to 7 hours on skin. A good nighttime fragrance, a good daytime fragrance, sexy smelling. If you can find it for a reasonable price, something in the range of $40 to $55, and you like leather fragrances, you should definitely check it. And so guys, these were the 10 fragrances that I got in the month of November. I hope that you found this video entertaining. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, stay safe, and I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye bye.